Hello Algebra 1 students, welcome to section 8-2 characteristics of quadratic function. One of these very important characteristics, guys, is called the zeros of quadratic function. Let me define what are the zeros of quadratic function. Guys, if you look at the graph of this parabola described by this equation in part A, you will see this parabola is upward parabola and intersects the x-axis at 2 points. If you read the coordinates of this point, the coordinates are -1 and 0. Any point in the x-axis, y coordinate is 0. And the coordinates of the other point of intersection is 3 and 0. Guys, this x coordinate of this point and that x coordinate of the other point of intersection are called the zeros of the function. So the zeros appear to be -1 and 3. This is not a point, these are two different zeros. So in conclusion, guys, zeros of quadratic functions are the x values that have 0 as output value. If you input -1 in this function, you will get 0, and if you input 3 in the same function, you will get 0. This is why we call them the zeros of the function, and they occur at the intersection of the parabola with x-axis. So how many zeros for the first quadratic function? There are 2 zeros. The scenario is quite different in part B, guys. If you look at the graph of this quadratic function, this graph only touches x-axis at 1 point, and the coordinates of this point is 1, 2, 3, -4 and 0. So what makes this function is equal to 0? The x value -4. So -4 is considered a 0 of this function. If you input -4 in this function, the output y gonna be 0 because this parabola only intersects x-axis at 1 point. So 2 zeros in part A and 1 0 in part C. And look at this third scenario in part C. Guys, there is no any kind of intersection between this parabola and the x-axis. So what do you expect, guys? How many zeros for this quadratic equation? Actually, there are no zeros. No zeros for this quadratic function. No zeros. There is no x value you can substitute in this function and can make y equal to 0. There is no intersection of the graph and the x-axis. Another very important characteristic, guys, is called the axis of symmetry of the quadratic function. You hear about the axis of symmetry in section 8-1, and it's that vertical line, this dashed green vertical line that divides the parabola into two symmetrical parts, the right part and the left part, and the axis of symmetry is always passes through the vertex of this parabola. This is the axis of symmetry. How do we write the equation of the axis of symmetry? Guys, if we know the coordinates of the vertex, in this situation, the coordinates of the vertex are 3, 0. So the axis of symmetry equation is exactly the x coordinate of the vertex. So it's x equals 3. Guys, sometimes we're not given the vertex coordinates and it's kind of difficult to read them from the graph, but we given the 2 zeros. Can we use the 2 zeros, -4 and 0, to get the equation of the line of symmetry? Yes, you can take these 2 zeros, average them, add them. -4 plus 0 is -4, divide by 2 is equal to -2. So the equation of the axis of symmetry in this situation, x equals -2. So far, guys, you studied 2 ways to write the equation of the axis of symmetry. If you given the vertex, you just take the x coordinate of the vertex, or you given the 2 zeros, you average the 2 zeros, and this is going to be the equation of the axis of symmetry. Let's apply this idea, guys. We given a parabola, and this parabola touches x-axis at -3 and 0. -3 and 0. So the equation of the axis of symmetry is equal to x equals -3. The x coordinate of the vertex is the line of symmetry. The vertex is -3 and 0. In part B, guys, we have another parabola, and I think we can use the two zeros this time because this 0 is -2 and this 0 is 4. We can average the two zeros, -2 plus 4. Average, it means you add and you divide by 2 in order to get the equation of the axis of symmetry. -2 plus 4 simplifies 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So guys, the equation of the axis of symmetry, x equals 1, and the vertex has to be 1 and another value. How do we get the other value? We just go and read this coordinates. The x coordinate is 1. The y coordinate is between 4 and 5, so it's going to be 4.5. Guys, sometimes we're not given the graph of the parabola and we need to write the equation of the axis of symmetry. And we don't need to graph this parabola in this situation, guys. We have a very small formula. The formula x equals -b over 2a. It gives us the equation of the axis of symmetry. What is b and what is a? b is the number in front of x and the a is the coefficient of x squared. Take this example. The parabola described by the equation y equals -3x squared plus 6x minus 7. Guys, if you identify the values of a, it's -3. The number in front of x squared is -3. And b is the coefficient of x and it's 6. The equation of the axis of symmetry by this formula, x equals -b over 2a. Guys, you can put this negative sign outside or you can put it in front of b. It doesn't make any difference. Now let's substitute, guys. -b. b is 6. So -6. I know it's positive number, but there is a negative sign because of the formula. So it's -6 times 2a. 2 times -3. If you simplify that, guys, it's going to be -6 over -6. Anything divided by itself is equal to 1. So the equation of the axis of symmetry, x equals 1. Very easy, guys. So far you learned 3 methods to write the equation of axis of symmetry. If you given a graph, you can use the vertex or you can use the two zeros. If you are not given a graph, you can use the formula x equals -b over 2a. Example number 4. And guys, example number 4 is considered extension of example number 3. Actually, we apply what we done in example number 3 because in example number 4 we need to find the vertex of the parabola without graphing. Guys, we're not given any graph and we're not gonna graph this parabola. Is it possible to get the vertex, the coordinates of the vertex from the equation? Yes, same way, guys, and same formula. We use the formula x equals -b over 2a in order to get the equation of the axis of symmetry, and we can use the same formula to get the x coordinate of the vertex because the x coordinate of the vertex is the same as the line of symmetry equation. So guys, -b, let me identify a and b at the beginning. A is -1 and b is -2. So if I substitute in this equation, guys, is equal to, let me substitute, -b, it means -2, it's going to be 2. 2a, it means 2 times -2. Sorry, 2 times -1, it's going to be -2. So the equation of the line of symmetry, x equals -1, and this is the x coordinate of the vertex. So guys, I can put the x coordinate is -1, but any coordinate, any point coordinates are x and y. How do I get the y? I have 50% of the solution. I have x, but I don't have y. Guys, you can take this x -1 and substitute in the equation of the parabola in order to get the y. So y equals -x squared. My x is -1, so -1 squared minus 2x, it means -2 times -1. We need to simplify all of that, guys. Negative is outside. -1 squared, it's 1, but there is negative sign waiting outside. -1 squared is 1, but 1 times -2, it's gonna be -2. -1 and the -2 simplifies -3. So guys, the coordinates of the vertex is -1 and -3 without having any parabola, without having any graph. Another example, y equals 5x squared minus 10x plus 3. What do we need? We need to identify the characteristic of the vertex. We need to identify the coordinates of the vertex. Guys, we're gonna use the line of symmetry equation. X equals negative b over 2a to get the x coordinate of the vertex. Later, once we get the x, we can substitute and get the y. Guys, I will need the value of a and the value of b. So let me identify a and b at the beginning. A equals 5 and b equals negative 10. Now let me substitute in this nice formula. Negative b, it means negative 10, it's gonna be 10. 2a, it means 2 times 5, it's gonna be 10. So the x coordinate of the vertex is gonna be 1. And now I need to substitute this one in order to get the y coordinate of the vertex. Y equals 5x squared, it means 5 times 1 squared, minus 10 times 1 plus 3. Guys, if you simplify all of that, 5 times 1 squared, it's gonna be 5. Minus 10 times 1, it's minus 10. And finally, plus 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 minus 10 is going to be negative 2. So the y coordinate of the vertex is negative 2. And the vertex of this parabola is equal to 1, 2. One last example, guys. It's a real-life application. The graph of the function, the quadratic function f of x, this graph, guys, it's a quadratic function, can be used to model the height in meters of an arch support. Guys, if you look at this bridge, the support of the bridge is in the form of parabola, in the shape of downward parabola. Of course, this is going to be the vertex of the parabola, guys. Where x-axis represents the water level. So x-axis, guys, represents the water level. And x represents the horizontal distance in meters from where the arch support enters the water. The question is, can a sailboat, guys, consider there is a boat wants to cross the river underneath this bridge. Can a sailboat that is 14 meters tall, the sailboat is 14 meters tall, can this sailboat pass under the bridge? And explain your answer. Guys, how do we know if this sailboat can cross under the bridge or not? Guys, if you look at this parabola, this is a downward parabola and the vertex is a maximum point. So if you can find the coordinates of this vertex, okay, the y coordinate represents the maximum height of this arch support. So you can figure out what is the maximum height of this bridge, and you can determine whether this 14 meters sailboat pass under this bridge or not. If it's taller than, if this distance is less than 14, this sailboat cannot cross under the bridge. But if this distance is higher than 14, my answer is yes, the sailboat can cross under the bridge. So guys, what is the first step in this problem is to figure out the coordinates of the vertex of this parabola from its equation, because we're not given the vertex in a coordinate plane. So guys, we're gonna use the formula x equals negative b over 2a. X equals negative b over 2a. If you get the formula of that, guys, you need negative b from this equation. It's negative 0.6, negative 0.6 divided by 2a, 2 times this negative number, negative 0.6, negative 0.06. Okay, guys, if you put that in the calculator, it's gonna be positive number. Let me double check with the calculator. Divided by 2 times 0.06 is equal to 5. Guys, this is 0.06. 0.06 0.06. So it's gonna be 5, guys. So the x coordinate of the vertex is gonna be 5, but my concern is the y coordinate. How do I get the y coordinate? By substituting this 5 in the original function. So we need to find f of 5. F of 5 is equal to negative 0.06 times 5 squared plus 0.6 times 5 plus 10.26. Guys, if you put all of that in the calculator, the answer gonna be 11.76 meter. 11.76 meter. Guys, let's think about this answer. So this is the y coordinate, this is the height of this arch support, and it's 11.76. Guys, is it possible for a sailboat that is 14 meters to pass under this bridge and the height of this bridge is 11.76? The answer is no. The sailboat cannot cross under the bridge. So the answer is the sailboat cannot cross or pass under the bridge. Why? Because the height of the bridge, the height of the arch support is less than 14. It's 11.75. Thank you, guys. Practice well and see you in the next lesson. Bye.